Alrighty, folks. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started with our informational session today. So we've kind of done a few of these now, and as you all know, NM CERG is in the process of spinning up a lot of different business assistance, development, and growth modules. And today we're talking about one of our, it's newly launched or launched enough modules about intellectual property protections. So kind of what do you do? What do you need to know about them? And really provide that overview and insight into how to protect your technology and how to protect your idea. So a couple of really quick goals for what we want to get out of today's session. Really, the purpose today is to give you more information about this course. So how do you access it? What do you need to know? What is currently in there? What are we planning for in the future? And at the heart of it, why did we do this? There's a lot of information out there about intellectual property and protecting your IP, but why was it important for at least us to go, we think there's not enough information. We think that there's something else that needs to be added. We think that there's something that needs to be changed or modified. So, information about our course. So, why did we create a course on intellectual property? Well, for anyone that's ever been through the process, it's time consuming. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of effort to actually get a patent. And if this is your first time approaching it, if it's, your first time doing it, if you're just an inventor yourself, doing it by yourself, not only is it time consuming, but man, it's confusing. It's a lot of things that you have to know. So, what are the different types of patents? Why does that matter? What are my requirements to file? How do I create a strong application? Claims, what are claims? What does this actually mean? What do you mean I can have an assignee and I can have an inventor and I can have a rights holder? And I just don't understand this. So that's why we created this patent course. But why did we create this course? Well, because intellectual property is not just about patents. Patents are an amazing thing. It's a great way to protect your investment into your idea for a period of up to 20 years. Some things to know about that, but I'm not going to talk about that. We're talking about the course today. You'll find out about it in the course, so sign up for the course. But it's not just about patents. There's also, copyrights. There's also trademarks. What are the difference between a patent and a copyright and a trademark? Who do I need to talk to about each one of those? And that's kind of a known. You've heard of all of those, but then portfolio. So what's your technology portfolio? What's your invention portfolio? Wait, there's a difference? And licensing. Why do you license? Can you license? Can you have a licensee? Can you license your invention out? What would you do? How would you go about that? What would you do to get that set up? So there's a lot of things to kind of know about when it comes to the patent landscape, as well as all of these different interplays for intellectual property. Even, why do you do this as a business process? Why is this part of, your business itself? What do you plan around this? When does it make sense to patent your invention? Well, you would think as soon as it's created, right? Well, maybe not. Do you even need to patent it? Are there other things you can tap into for protections? Is it worth it to collaborate with someone, to share some IP, to have creatives? That's all other things that are very confusing to people. But so why did we create a course on intellectual property? Well, because at the heart of it, again, there's a lot of information out there about protecting your intellectual property, about protecting your inventions, about patenting your ideas, about patenting your technology. But the information is not geared towards you. It's not geared towards entrepreneurs. It's not geared towards those small 1 or 2 man shops. A lot of the information that you find out there is for faculty members, for our, researchers at, like Sandia or Los Alamos, or throw in another huge government funded lab. Or maybe it's geared towards those large corporations, those 5, 6, 7,000 people organizations. And I mean, they have a bevy of lawyers, they have a bevy of attorneys that they can point towards and turn to and say, well, we want to protect this. You just figure this out. Here's a blank check. And so that's kind of the critical reason why we created this course, is to make the information digestible by people that are in your shoes, those entrepreneurs who are just getting their feet wet here and really need to know, is this going to be worth it? Is this going to pan out for my business? Is this something that I should actually focus on, that I should do? What does this actually mean for my company? And are there other benefits? Because there is a huge benefit to, fostering a culture of innovation at your organization. It's not just about this one technology, this one development, this one patent, this one protection. It's about keeping the people there, keeping the creativity and that kind of mind space there, keeping you on the cutting edge of innovation. And how do you do that? So that is why we created an IP course. Now, the purpose of the course is really just to give you an overview, give you more information about these different areas. So what do you need to know about, patenting, the process for it? What do you need to know about intellectual property? Because again, IP is not just patents. IP is the things you're creating, why you're creating them, the technology you're creating, what it leads to, the opportunities that you can capture based off of that. And really, at the heart of it, the business reasoning and decisions that go into it. I do a lot of presentations on, SBIR. People go, well, SBIR is my business. No, it's not. It's part of your business. It's part of your business process, part of your business plan. Protections, same thing. These are part of your business and part of your plan. It's not the entirety of your business, because the heart of it, patent's kind of worthless unless you do something with it. So that's the purpose of this course, to give you that information on how do you get started? Why do you get started? Why does this make sense? When does it make sense? And we're not the experts by any means, but we have a lot of knowledge, and we want to make sure that you have the tools, you have the resources, you have the information, and you have the knowledge points to make the best decisions for your business. Because this is a repository. It's a repository of information and learning. We have things like guided presentations. So it's not just us throwing the, PowerPoint up there and saying, yeah, flip through the slides, hope you understand them, good luck. We actually break down the information in those presentations. We have a video that accompanies it where we talk about each of those. We give you the nuance. We give you the, kind of flavor text that surrounds it. We have things like interviews where we've interviewed, USPTO regional directors. We've interviewed multiple patent attorneys. We've interviewed people from research institutions that have things you can tap into, things you can license. So there's a lot of just great information by domain experts that is within the course. And at the heart of it, this is a Patents 101. We, again, don't claim to be, the end-all be-all knowledge font of intellectual property and its protections. You can't be. Way too much information out there. Maybe you're an expert in a slice of that, but you're not an expert in all of it. But that's not what we want it to be, because it's kind of self-guided and self-paced. We want you to be able to consume the content when it makes sense to you, when you need to be able to access it. That kind of flow where it goes, okay, here's where I am, here's where I'm starting out. Yeah, I feel kind of confident. I can move on. I can, I got my information here, got my toes a little bit wet, kind of skim this water. Let's see what else we can learn and see what other knowledge points we can get from here. So again, this is kind of the breakdown on what the course looks like and the functionality. And I'm going to actually get into towards the end of my flow here. We'll actually show you what the course looks like, how to access it, because you can access it right now. If you have the link, which you'll get the link during this presentation, and you'll get the link in the email we send out to everybody. But the guided presentations kind of give you that, hey, here's what you need to know about this particular thing. The course is broken up into modules. There are 7, 8 modules. I designed it. You'd think I'd remember how many modules there are, but it does kind of on a module by module basis give you that information. So we break down the presentations into kind of bite-sized chunks. And yeah, I call it a bite-sized chunk, but it's still a decently long like video. They're 30 to 40 minutes, but we have chapter skips in them. So okay, this is what's planned to talk about here. I need information about this. Let me, skip to this. You can find them in the descriptions on the YouTube videos because they're rather long. They have to be posted through YouTube first. And we give you the kind of overview. So what are we planning to talk about here? Why does this matter? Why does this matter to you right now? You'll be able to pull down the presentation, and as you watch the video, you can flip through it. It's also one of those things where in the kind of presentation style, you'll have the talking head, and then you'll have the slides kind of next to it. But sometimes it can be hard to see those. So pull down the slides and follow along as you hear me talk about these different aspects. And really cool thing that we have is some digital badges. So for each module, we actually have a quiz that goes along with it, where we go, okay, here's what you learned, here's what we covered, here's what we hope you're able to walk away with. Take this real quick quiz. And you can take these quizzes however many times you need to get, your 100% and get your little digital badge. It's just a fun little thing. I mean, the digital badge doesn't convey anything really, but you can, because these are set up through Canvas and Badger, you can actually display these badges on something like your LinkedIn profile, where you go, hey, I was able to get some information about this. Somebody says that I have some good knowledge about this area. Doesn't do anything. It's not like a certificate program. It's just our fun little thing for you to engage with content. But it helps to make sure that what we are going for, what we provide, and the information we cover is actually digestible, that you can understand it, that you can walk away going, okay, I have enough information now that I'm dangerous in this area. So let me find out more. And then we also have some really great just kind of overviews of things. So some tools, some resources, some things to help you plan and move forward. And all of this information has been validated and vetted, by patent attorneys, by patent specialists, by professionals. I'm not a lawyer. I can get that out of the way real quick. So it's just my information, my understanding, and what you need to know. So even things like these claims examples where we go, well, claims are tough. You really need to write them in a specific way. So let's throw some examples at you and explain why it's either a good claim or why it's a bad claim, and why you would want to structure them in this particular way. And there's a lot of, there's documents on licensing. So how do you set up a credo? What's important to actually kind of get within that agreement? What's important to focus on when you're having those first conversations? If you get, a rejection from the USPTO, what do you cover in those conversations? What do you need to find out? What's a good way to do one of those interviews during prosecution? Because you're almost always going to get rejections. They kind of always do that for the first round. They'll pick something to reject, and then you have to fight with them on it. But what's a good best practice for that, quote unquote fight? Don't actually fight with them, but for just having that conversation, for being able to reframe to what they need to make it easier for you to protect your idea. And again, interviews with, these luminaries in the field conducted by somebody that's not a luminary, but we just want to make sure that everything that you have, everything that we provide flows together into one kind of cohesive package. And that's why this is an introductory course. It is just that 101 level. It's, hey, here's what we understand. Here's what you need to understand. And then here are other places you can go to expand on your knowledge, because patenting and protecting your intellectual property is a really important aspect of your business, and particularly for future growth, future success, and being able to move forward. So again, we're not lawyers. Information is advisable in nature. It's not to be taken as dictated steps. We are not lawyers. We can't help you create your patent application, write claims, fill out paperwork. But we're more than happy to put you in touch with any of the practitioners we know, any of the people that we interviewed, any of the people that said, yeah, I would love to be able to talk to people like this. Or if you want to use some of the pro bono services through USPTO and you go, I can't figure out where to get to these. Well, we have some links for that. We have some ways to dive through their information as well, because we know that we're not going to be the end all be all for information, but we want to be a clearinghouse. What do you need to know? What makes sense to you? And how can you continue to move forward? So now cover course access. So how do you access the course? It's actually really simple. You click on this link and the link will take you to Canvas. For anyone that doesn't know, Canvas is an online learning management system, and it provides access to people with any .edu address to create their own courses and to create some pretty dynamic and engaging courses. And I understand those are marketing words, but I like to think that they're informational and keep you semi-entertained, hopefully. Clicking on the link will launch you directly into Canvas. If you don't already have a Canvas account, it's very easy to make one. It's totally free. It'll take you 30 to 60 seconds. If you do have a Canvas account, you'll just be prompted to log in with your credentials, and it'll take you right to the dashboard, right to the first steps. There's a couple of things that you'll find as soon as you enter the course. You'll have a welcome message, then you'll have a really quick kind of introductory and overview video. That one is quick, about 2 minutes long. And then you have a very short quiz. We had to integrate the quiz just because this is open enrollment. It is available to anyone out there. So do not hesitate to send this off to other people you've worked with in the past, other businesses you've partnered with, that it's always been an issue for them to figure out how to protect what they're working on. We want to make sure that this information is out there in the most widely consumable format that it can be. But in order to know who's signing up and using the course, very short quiz, just ask some basic questions kind of about, who are you? What's your business about? Are there any special flags for your business? Because this is supported through our DOE EPIC award under our NM CERG program. And then as soon as you fill out that quick 4-question quiz, you can get to learning. You can start to move through the content, start to actually flag things, maybe hop on a discussion board, ping one of the instructors and say, hey, there's some information I'd like here. But that gets a step ahead. So before we actually kind of dive into really let's cover this real fast. So we also have feedback and engagement things within the course, just to know, was this useful? Was this valuable? Is there anything we're missing? Is there anything that you go, this is good, but I'd like to have some more information here? There's 2 different ways that you can do it. One, you can actually go through the discussion board. There's a discussion board at the bottom, which is called Ping a Teacher. Couldn't think of a better term for it. And if you drop a message in there, one of the teaching staff will immediately get a notification that there's a new message, and just, hey, drop us a line. Tell us what was good, tell us what was bad, tell us what you need better access and better information for. And then for the future of the course, this is not a one and done. We're not Ron Papil. You're not going to set it and forget it. We want to make sure that we're always upgrading our capability, upgrading our capacity, upgrading what we're able to do, the information we're able to distribute, and why the information makes sense for people. So we're planning on adding things, more tools, more resources, more feedback, more ways to talk directly with us, more interviews, more of those. How do you find these resources? What are valuable resources? What are, supremely invaluable resources that you can't live without? And at the end of the day, we really hope this turns into kind of your one-stop shop for all information intellectual property. And whether that's integrating other people's information, whether that's sending you out to people that are, foremost experts, whatever we need to do to make sure that you have one place you can go to figure out, where do I find the best information? Where do I get the best knowledge? And how do I transform that knowledge into learning? So looking at, things like more workflows, additional documents to help you prepare your patent, ways to connect with patent attorneys, easier ways to connect with, patent attorneys and professionals, maybe just have them look over your claims, maybe to help you file, whatever we need to do to keep the flow of innovation going across our ecosystem. So with that, let's actually take a really quick look at the course and just some of the things to be aware of as you access for the first time. Okay. 1 second. It always hates when I do this. Okay, now you should see the course. So when you access the course, this is the first thing that you're going to find is, and this is in student view right now, so it should definitely be the way that it's laid out for you. The welcome message, the really quick video about the introduction, the overview, why did we do this, and then that short quiz. So welcome message just tells you what we're hoping you get out of it, what you need to know, what we really want people to be able to understand from accessing and using this course. And really quick overview video just kind of goes into what are these different elements, what do you need to know, how do you need to access it, and what do we think is really great about the course itself. And then this very short quiz. So again, the quiz is just because of the funders that paid for this. So, where are you located? Do you fall into any of the diversity, equity, and inclusion designations, for either yourself, your C-level positions, or your business itself? And are you a current member of the NM CERG program? Actually, fill this out with correct information. I'm just trying to move through. And then once you submit the quiz, now that opens up all of our different modules for you. So again, kind of consume the content at your pace. It is laid out in a way where the modules kind of, from our best understanding or our best standpoint, kind of make sense. Really start off with some basics about what is patenting, what do you need to know, what are the different types of patents, then moves into kind of the values of protecting. So why do you do this? How is this part of your business process? What's important to know about when it makes sense to actually go after protections? And now that you've made that key decision, well, how do you get started? What's this process for patenting? Is it different for different types of patents? Yes, it is. Really quick information for you. And then some of our checklists, some of our tools. And then now that you've decided, okay, well, let me get this process started. Well, how do you create a strong application? What are some of the things that you need to know about the application process, the documentation you have to have, and ultimately submitting this and getting it into USPTO's hands? And now that they've started the examination, well, again, you're almost always going to have a rejection on your first. That's just kind of matter of fact with USPTO. But don't freak out. There are some really great things you can do to kind of set yourself up to be prepared for that and to make it seamless to actually move beyond that. So how do you respond to this examination? And then just continuing protections. So now that you have a patent, you just get to kind of sit back and rest on your laurels, right? Not really. Some things you need to know about kind of continuing to protect yourself, continuing to, develop that portfolio. Wait, portfolio? What do we mean by portfolio? Well, that's the next module. Understanding your portfolio, being able to leverage it, being able to kind of go, okay, this is valuable. This isn't really that valuable. Oh, I need to get rid of this. And then kind of lastly, well, there's a lot of really great mind share out there. Should I know about it? Can I wrap that into my own protections, my own portfolio? The quick answer is yes. It makes a lot of sense to work with things like research institutions, to look at, technology transfer, to look at licensing, to maybe be a licensor yourself, rather than just be a licensee. So that's kind of the course in a nutshell. Now that we've given our information, let me just go close that. I'd like to open it up for any questions that people have kind of about the course, about accessing it, about, what you need to be able to do. Again, these slides are going to go out. The links will be clickable to get you directly into the course, and in the follow-up email, because this has been recorded. So in the follow-up email, it'll be a link to the video as well as the, hey, at the end of the day, here's your link to get started. Sign up, start working through stuff. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you may need better access to. Let us know what other tools would actually make sense for you. So if you have a question, feel free to drop it in chat. You can always unmute yourself, ask directly.
Dale, I had a question. On that questionnaire on the Canvas course, so being part of the NM CERG cluster, what does that entail?
So New Mexico CERG, that's actually a really great question, Dustin. NM CERG is part of our Clean Energy Resilience and Growth Cluster. For companies that have potential impacts into clean energy or developing clean energy solutions, services, renewable energy, or even just, carbon mitigation technologies, we have an entire host of resources that are available to them. And this course is something that we've actually developed under that. You don't have to be part of CERG to access the course, but if you are developing something energy related, you can get a lot more assistance, whether you're going after specific non-dilutive funding opportunities, other funding opportunities, whether you're looking at investment preparedness for venture capital, whether you're needing to make connections with manufacturers, distributors, whether you need to find out more about your potential markets, go out there and do some customer interviews and customer engagement. We kind of have an entire roadmap and a pathway for success set up for those companies. And that's, if you click on this top link here in the presentation for program/NM CERG, you can find out more about CERG, what we do, the kind of businesses that would benefit from it, and how to apply. We welcome anyone that thinks that they have a solution that is energy related that could have impacts into New Mexico to apply for the program. If you're accepted, it is, free assistance. Department of Energy pays us to provide assistance to you.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you very much for explaining that.
Any other questions? Well, there are no further questions. Again, thank you guys for taking time out to kind of hear more about some of the things that we're doing, some of the things that, seem exciting because they're pretty new for New Mexico. And the recording should be up this afternoon, along with that email out to everybody with those links. Again, the course is open enrollment, open access. Sign up, get poking around. If you have any questions on the course, have any questions on CERG, or have any questions on, the course seems good, but this is where I really need to have more information about protecting my intellectual property, simply ping me. You'll have my email address. I welcome all requests for more information, but I love giving people information as long as it's something I have information to give about. If not, I'll find you somebody that can provide information to you. But we will get that prepared. We'll get that up, and look for an email from me this afternoon. Just at the end of the day, click through the links, guys. Access the course, take the quick quiz so you can access the rest of it, and just find out more information on protecting your intellectual property, why it makes sense for your business, and ultimately, once you decide that it makes sense for your business, how do you go about it? Because it can be a confusing and daunting process, but we want to make sure that even though at the end of the day, it's always still going to be confusing and daunting, at least it's not overwhelming. So thank you guys, and look for that email this afternoon.